Hello guys, welcome to Cisco with Aman Soni. And in this lecture number 3, we will learn how to save the configuration on a Cisco device. And same as always, we are going to use Cisco Packet Tracer for the lab and we are going to do these tasks. Some basic configuration on the Cisco router we will be doing. We will be changing the host name, the IP address on the interface, and we will turn it on. Why? Because all the interfaces of a router are by default shut down. Okay, mark the word shut down. You will know soon enough why I am focusing on the word. And we will apply a secret password and a line password, and actually the line console zero password that you guys learned in the last video. So let's hop onto the Cisco packet tracer, just make it full screen, and let's select a Cisco router. Let's zoom in a little and take the CLI of the router. Let's increase the font size because by default in the Cisco packet tracer your font size will look something like this, very small. So what you guys will do, you will go to the options, preference, font, and you will make it around 14 or 16 as you like. Apply it, just close it, and your CLI size will be quite comfortable. As always, you will do a no and you will enter into the user mode, guys. So first of all, let's go to the enable mode. As you can see, by default there is no passwords and the default hostname is router. So how to change the hostname of the Cisco router? First you have to go inside the configure terminal, meaning the control panel. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, my mistake. Configure terminal. Now we're inside the configure terminal, meaning the global configuration mode. The command to change the host name is quite simple. It is host name and whatever name you would like to assign. Let's say A, B, C, D. As soon as you do enter, your host name will be changed immediately. Now the host name is changed. Let's assign IP address to an interface. Let's say interface. What interface? Let's go to F0 by 0. We are inside interface fast Ethernet 00. The command to assign IP address to the interface. Let's say 192.168.1.1. Oh, and followed by a subnet mask. You will never assign the IP address alone. You will be assigning the IP address and the subnet mask. Now just do a no shutdown. Why? Because our task was to assign the IP address on the Cisco router's interface and to turn it on. So the first command you are seeing the IP address one is to assign the IP address and no shutdown is to turn it on. Just enter and your interface is up and running. Now exit out. How you can check the IP address on the interface? The command to see all the brief information about all the interfaces is show IP interface brief. It will show you the list of all the interface that you have. As you can see, we just went to F0 by 0 and assigned the IP address 192.168.1.1 and the status is up. Why the status is up? Because you did a no shutdown. By default all the interfaces are administratively down. Why? Because they all are shut down. But even after you have done no shutdown, why the protocol is down? Because there is no device is connected on interface F0Y0. That's why the protocol is down. The protocol will show you the connectivity. Do you have the connectivity on that particular interface with some device? No, it is down. There is no device whatsoever. So we have an IP address on the interface. It is turned on. We have did a no shutdown. The host name is changed. Now we need to apply some passwords. So again you need to go to the configure terminal and the enable secret. Hope you guys remember this command from the last video. Cisco @1234. A strong password and it is set now. And also you have to go to the line console 0. Okay, it is line console 0. We are inside the line console and the password to protect the line console. Password. Let's say QWERTY QWERTY. and a login so that you can make it ask the uh, console password. When you log into the console, exit out. So time to check, exit, and again exit. Now it is going to ask you first of all the line console password, which was QWERTY, and then you will be doing an enable. As soon as you do enable, it will ask you for the enable mode password, which is the secret password and which was Cisco at the rate 1234. We are in now. Guys, if you restart or reload the router, every configuration you have done will be gone. Why it will be gone? Let me show you. All your config that you have done is saved inside this running configuration file. Your secret password. Let's do an enter. The IP address on the interface. You removed a shutdown. By default, all the interfaces are shut down and you just removed it with a no shutdown. Scroll it down. The line password, the line console password with the login command. All this configuration is in the running configuration, guys. So let me open the paint and show you how things work. Now we have the marker. Yes, let's say guys, this is your router. This one, yeah, this is your router. Let's make it little thicker. Yes, now whatever you are doing is saved inside the running config. Okay, inside the running configuration. And as soon as you reload the router, when you reload, the running config is deleted and you will be getting a blank running config next time. That's how thing works around here. Okay, everything will be gone because when you do a reload, when you restart your router, your running config will disappear. Now how are you going to reload your router? You are going to reload your router either manually by turning it physically on and off, or either with the reload command. Reload, I have to show you. Let's do a reload and let me do all the commands on the notepad so that we next time we can just copy and paste it very easily. So what were the commands? Enable, then the configure terminal command. This is a quick review of what we have done in this lecture up till now. Configure terminal and change the host name to ABCD, and then you will go to the interface F0 by 0, give an IP address, just a normal IP address with a subnet mask, turn the interface on, exit it out, and the enable passwords. The enable secret password, which was Cisco at the rate 1234. Now you will go to the line console and you will do the password, which is, and be very careful while you are doing this inside the notepad, and login and exit out. These are all the commands that you have done. Why am I writing them on the notepad? Because as soon as we are going to do a reload, enter. It is saying, do you want to proceed with the reload? It is that dangerous. That's why the router is even confirming you. As soon as you do enter, and your router is rebooted, and what happens when your router is rebooted? When your router is reloaded, your configuration, your running configuration, where all your configuration was, this was your config, it will be erased, it will be gone, and you will be getting a blank running config next time. And this task is going to show you that our hypothesis is correct. Let me show you. See what is it asking you. Do you want to continue with the configuration dialog? This line, this prompt means that your router is blank right now. If you do a no, if you do no and just enter enable, see, everything you have done is gone. No host name, guys, no host name you can see here. And when you do show IP interface, BIEF brief, no IP address, and all the interfaces are shut down, including your F0 by 0. No passwords, no IP addresses, no host name. Now imagine if you are sitting on a router, you know a lot of protocols, and you are doing the configuration for, let's say, last 2 3 hours, and if it is reloaded, or if you mistake by mistake you just turn it off, turn it on. If you your power cable on the router, it gets out by mistake, so your configuration, all the configuration will be gone. So now I will tell you how to do the config correctly, that you already know, because we are not going to waste time again and again to do the config. Why? Because I wrote all the commands on the notepad. You will just copy them, select all. You are going to do a right click, just copy them, go to the CLI and right click, paste. Every configuration is done. How you will check the configuration? Show IP interface brief. We have an IP address, the status is up, and a show running config you will be doing. You can see the secret password. Scroll it down. IP address, subnet mask, check. Line console password, check. Login, check. Everything is done. But again, if you do a reload, okay, don't worry, I'm not going to do this again. It will erase your running config. Or if you go physically out there and you click on here, and when your router is shut down and it will start it again, your running config again will be gone. Or if somebody in real life, on real device, plug out this cable, then again your config will be gone. So we have to save the running configuration into some special place. Let me show you. Clean up all the mess. Now guys, let's take a new brush in here, new marker. This one seems better. Now you will do what? You will take your running config that you have done. Okay, this is your running config. All the password, everything is in there. So you will take this running config and copy you will copy this config into another configuration that is saved inside the NVRAM, the non-volatile RAM, which is not deleted when you reload the router. And the name of the non the and the name of that config is, guys, let me just write it here, is startup config. Okay, just remember it always. The name of the config is startup hyphen and config, just like your running config, but instead this is startup config. And what is the difference? This startup config is not deleted when the router reboots, because it is saved in NVRAM. Now how are you going to do this copy? There is a simple copy command on the Cisco routers. Let's go back and let me show you the command. The command, guys, is go to the enable mode, copy whatever source you have, and then whatever your destination is, and just press an enter and it will do the copy for you. So you tell me, what is the command? What is your source? The source, guys, is the running config, because you want to save that running config, and then you're going to copy it into what? Into the startup config. And when you do enter, it will be reloaded. It is going to ask you for confirmation. Okay, so you, when it will ask you for the confirmation, just press and enter. Okay, let me show you how it works. Just do a copy, and you will be doing a running hyphen config, and you will do a startup hyphen config. It is asking, do you want to leave the destination file name as startup config? Yes, obviously. As soon as you do enter, it will do the copy for you, and it is done. Do not type any name after this. Why? Because you want to copy the running config into the startup config, not any other file. And the configuration is being built it. Let me show you. Show startup hyphen config. This is your startup config. Your whole running config is copied into the startup config. Your secret passwords, your IP addresses, your line console passwords, everything is copied. Now, what will happen when your router is reloaded? Tell me, let me show you what happens when your router is reloaded. Now you have a running config, a perfectly fine running config. Now, if you take your router, guys, and when you perform a reload, okay, or when it turns on. When you turn on your router, what will happen? It will check. It will check what? It will check if you have a startup config. And in this case, we just created a startup config. It will check for a startup config. Now, yes, we have a startup config. Now what? It will automatically copy this startup config into the running configuration when your router is turned on. This is the most important point in this task. What? Because previously we were not having any startup config, so our running config was blank. But in this case, we have a startup config, and the startup config file is automatically copied into the running config when the router is turned on next time, or when you reload and it starts again. The very good thing about networking, guys, you can see the practical right now to confirm if all this is true or not. Let's go to the packet tracer. Now we are going to do a reload. We just did one command. What was the command? This was the command. Copy running config space startup config, and let's do a reload. Yes. Now it will not ask you anything. Do you want to do the config? Yes or no? Why? Because the router automatically have a startup config. It have a build up configuration file, and it will automatically be copied into the running config. So it will not ask you anything, but instead give you the router, and you can tell by this it is asking you for the console password, a saved router with a build up configuration file. What is the password? It was QWERTY. This was our line console password. Now enable. The enable mode password was secret password, which was Cisco at the rate 1234. We are done. And show IP interface BRIEF. Yes, this was the IP address. The status is up, the configuration is there, everything is fine. Now you can go to the physical router. Click here, just turn it off. Why? Because you have a router with a saved configuration file. All your config, all your password, IP addresses are saved inside the startup config. When you start the router, you need not worry. Why? Because everything will be saved. Now, a few tips. The command, guys, was copy running config space startup hyphen config. If you think that this command is quite big, worry not. Let me tell you some shortcuts. You can just write run, and for start you can just type start. These are the short forms. When you do enter, the router will understand. Okay, so you just have to do enter again. Or there is another shortcut. You can do the same thing, the same command with using this command. Right, yes guys, this is same as copy running config to startup config. It will save your configuration. Or guys, if you think even this is big, fear not. Let me tell you the shortcut for the right command. WR. Okay, I can't get smaller than this. So just type WR, do an enter, and your configuration will be saved. Now you know all the commands. Copy running config space startup config, copy run start, or just do a write, or just do a WR, and your configuration is saved. You have to know how to save this configuration into the startup, so that when you turn on the router, you have a saved config file. Why? Because in the next lecture I am going to show you how to break the password. If somebody or even you apply the password on a Cisco router and you forgets it, you can break or reset the password if you have the physical access of your device. And for that, this is important. You have to know how to save the config, then only you can break the passwords. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Do practice this at least 2-3 times. If you have doubts, you can do the comments, and as always, don't forget to like and share the video. Take care. Love you all. I'm a ninja signing out for now. Good night and have a safe night, guys.